I've been scrolling the timeline a lot, and I know a lot of Pistons fans are very excited about the season that we had and how they need that number two option. What's kind of been like your guys' overall like thoughts with the Jaden Ivey talk, like kind of surrounding his name? Because I scroll a lot, and I would think this guy. I think he's good, and I'm kind of a Jaden Ivey apologist. I will fully admit that. But Sean, why do you think some Pistons fans just aren't really sold on the idea of Jaden Ivey next to Cade Cunningham?
Because he doesn't have the name value of Devin Booker and other players that they could go out and trade for to put alongside him. I think a lot of people, it's just, after you have that type of season, you want to you want to see him make the jump, go get the exciting player with the brand, with the brand recognition and all of those things. But I think if you look at like the way that Jaden Ivey was playing and the progression from year one to now, especially because it's not just like Cade wasn't the only one that had to go through the hell of the Monty season. If there's anyone that perhaps could have had their career affected the most by what happened with Monty in Detroit, you could argue it's Jaden Ivey. And the fact that he came out this year, had almost 18 points a game, shot 41% from three on five attempts a game. He's shown his ability to be a playmaker. He's shown his improved defensive ability. To me, it's like when you look at everything you want alongside of Cade Cunningham in a backcourt like pairing and like a second scoring option, Jaden Ivey absolutely fits that bill. And then you talk about the fact that he's just now turning 23 years old, just 3 months ago. And when he comes back from his injury, there's still so much room and potential to grow. I would say anyone that like right now that is like wanting to trade Jaden Ivey or package some of these players and go get a star, I would ask them if they thought the Tigers would be one of the top teams in the AL without going and getting Alex Bregman this summer. And I would ask them to apply that same logic to the Pistons, because there's a very legitimate chance with the way that some of the things are shaking right now in the Eastern Conference that the Pistons could make no changes, work hard this offseason, and come back and be a top 4, top 3 team in the East if things shake out the right way for them. So I personally am right there with you, Anthony. I'm still just a really big Jaden Ivey apologist, just because you hear the way that everyone talks about him, teammates, front office, coaches. Doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what regime they've been a part of. They've all said the same thing. And it's that kid works his ass off. And when you have like guys like when you have like people who work in professional sports saying, no, that guy works hard, that's something to take note of.
Yeah, for me, the big thing is with Jaden Ivey, it's really easy to speculate and say the Pistons season got better when he went out. I mean, they were 6 games under 500 or 5 or 6 games or something like that when he went out. They went on these big runs. And they ended up well above, winning over 40 games. And I think it was easy to see that when you took Jaden Ivey out and you put shooting around Cade Cunningham and you sacrificed the secondary ball handler, you saw Cade blossom. That doesn't mean it can't work with Ivey, because there were moments it did. And it's not like they were bad with Ivey either. It just went even further. And if you want even a closer picture, look at the playoffs where you saw Cade getting doubled, getting trapped, and he had to get the ball out of his hands. The most important veteran to me was Dennis Schroeder. And he's a guy where if you plug Jaden Ivey into that role, you kind of get an uber athlete there as well. So you just kind of have to look at the bigger picture there and notice that, I mean, although we want to look at how we succeeded in the regular season and what got us to the playoffs, but Dennis Schroeder and having that secondary creator was so important. And I think with Jaden Ivey, if he continues to show that he can hit the 3 ball consistently, I mean, you're putting him in that upper echelon of secondary creating guards in the league. So a lot of people talk about addition by subtraction or having to go out and get things more, but I feel like just addition by continuation is something very important for this team.
I've just gone back and forth with it, and I get why fans are maybe a little bit impatient because they went through such a hard rebuild of, incomplete rosters, some questionable signings, the guys that were maybe way past their prime, like Joe Harris's. I could just go down the failed like reclamation projects, but I'm not going to do that. I want to focus on Ivy.
Happy place, happy thoughts.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Welcome to Pistons Talk Podcast. The thing with Ivy is like his rookie year, it got cut short because Cade only was able to play 12 games, had season-ending surgery. Going into Ivy's second year, we had a Terrace as a coach that loved Killian Hayes and didn't want to play Jaden Ivey whatsoever for whatever reason. I really don't know why.
You can't call the coach a terrorist and expect me to not have a reaction.
He is, though. I mean, come on.
I guess I can't argue that.
Woo,
Nah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, he is. He is. Don't shut me down, YouTube.
Killian Hayes was the weapon of mass destruction then.
Literally, just throw him in a torpedo and let him go. Then this year, 30 games played, shot over 40% from three on good volume. Now, the Pistons didn't really get over 500 until Jaden Ivey to get injured, and I think that's what some fans point to. But I would say Cade Cunningham just took a bigger leap of being that number one option, and the vets I thought stepped up, like Tobias, Malik, and Tim. But I don't really think, giving up on a prospect that's 23 years old, that's not finished developing. I get fans want to get better, but maybe I'm falling under the thing where like I overvalue a guy and I want to make it work. I just need more of a sample size. I just thought the last 3 seasons we really have not gotten a big enough sample size for me to say it's time to make a move. I mean, am I crazy for thinking that, or
no, not at all? Because to me, if with Jaden Ivey, he's young enough to where it's not like, and this team is young enough to where we didn't have players in their prime or past their prime play a tough first round series. We had a squad with their first taste of playoff action that are far from their primes and that are still on their first contracts, to where you're not going to gain anything by selling it all and trying to gamble. I mean, you might get something and it might not be long term, but you just kind of have to see how this runs out, because you don't want to cut it short and then it close your window. I mean, when you have this young core, it kind of keeps it a little bit open and keeps you more flexible. And I think Trajan's been a key proponent of talking about flexibility.
I would love to see the total amount of games that we've seen of Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, and Jaden Ivey all on the court, because I legitimately don't even think it's 30. Like, I think that's why people are like, well, why don't you just like be aggressive, blow it up? It's like, because you hardly don't even know what you have, and you almost beat the team that's in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, the Pistons were without what should have been 2 of their best players and pushed the New York Knicks, who are now going to be playing the Pacers in the conference finals, who just beat the Boston Celtics, for Christ's sakes. Pushed that team to 6 games. Had guys that campaign in the Knicks locker room saying, thank God for the Pistons, because the way that they played woke us up and got us ready for this run. Like, when you have teams that are going, hey, like they're not coming, they've arrived. And a lot of these guys are only 23, 22, 21 years old. And you want to trade them for guys who maybe have 3 years left in their prime?
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, for more than 10 seconds, yeah, there's some reasons to have some apprehension.